here. I'm bringing you today my league match in the extended Pauper League. This is the deck I'm going to play. It's a hexproof deck, which I came up with myself, and it's really good. I think I tested this extensively, and I've lost like maybe once or twice in like I don't know a dozen matches. It feels really good. Maybe I just haven't found the deck yet, which is gonna beat me, but it has a lot. It's very resilient to like what usually kills hexproof. So stuff like edicts, stuff like celestial flare doesn't. It's not that good because we played 26 creatures, and it's just not feasible for the opponent to like have that much removal, have that much sacrifice. And there's a bunch of decks which don't have any removal, and against those, or not any removal that hits us, like we don't care about lightning bolt. So we can just enchant stuff like Hopeful Eidolon with an E-Armor and win the game. Oftentimes having a big lifelinker wins you the game in this format, I feel. So yeah, going to play Extended Pauper as I said. So let's find our opponent and challenge him. Here we go. I'm playing against tommyv. This is the first match, first week. I tested a lot, mostly against Opson and against Roberto. Thanks to both of them for helping me test. And I built a couple other decks, but this is by far the best. I built an Delver Fiend deck, and I built an Esper control deck, I suppose, which wasn't very good. And I streamed them too, but there's no YouTube video. So we win with die roll. It's actually put this here so you can see the chat. So this hand is actually pretty awkward. I'm not sure if I want to keep this. I don't think I've mulliganed too much with this because usually I keep almost anything. But we have no mana fixing. This hand doesn't do anything at all. Yeah, I like this hand better. Way better. So I'm going to start out with Abundant Growth. Because we don't have an important turn to play anyway. Like if we had a 2-drop, we would have played Evolving Wilds first. Well, I guess... Well, we want to play with Heliod's Pilgrim on turn 3. Okay. I guess we play the Hunt Beast next turn. And then the turn after we play Heliod's Pilgrim and probably Lifelink. Maybe E-Armor, it really depends on what our opponent is playing. I'm not sure yet. He might be red-white heroic. That's a deck I've seen before, which can be very, very fast. And against both decks, you just want to get Lifelink as fast as possible. Yeah. So I'm gonna get a white source. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten a white source. That was a small mistake, I guess. Maybe I don't want to play this way. Maybe I want to play Heliod's Pilgrim and put an E-Armor on it. That would be a 3/5. Pretty big. It can block with a Mardu Scout, and then next turn we play Shieldmate and give it Hexproof. I'm just gonna go for the Hunt Beast here. What I don't like about the Hunt Beast is that we're most likely not gonna block, but since we're still at 20 life, we're not really worried about dying anytime soon. As I said, I played against Red-White Heroic before, but this doesn't seem to be Red-White Heroic. Like the Heroic deck was playing the Satyr Hoplite and the Akron Crusader, and some other creature I forgot, and mostly like Titan strength and stuff like that. So this seems to be different, and different means I'm inexperienced, means I'm not sure how much damage he can do, how fast I could die. So I'm trying to play conservative. But since we play Heliod's Pilgrim next turn, we're gonna have like at least one blocker. And here comes Titan's turn. Actually, I think last turn maybe I should have played Scout and Heliod's Pilgrim. And if we had played Heliod's Pilgrim and enchanted the Heliod's Pilgrim with E-Armor, it would have been a no-brainer to block here, basically. As you can see, he's doing a lot of damage. If I draw a land... Oh well, okay. This makes it a little easier. So we just have to survive next turn and probably win, because we Heliod's Pilgrim, get an E-Armor, and then we have a lifelink which is too big. I doubt he can do like 15 damage in a single turn. What's the best he could have? He could have land, Titan Strength, Double Strike, Teemo Battle Rage. That would be 9, that would be 18. Well, that would be absolute nuts. He would need to have 4 specific cards for that to happen. And those are like, as I said, those are nuts. This is the best spell there is for pumping, and then there's Teemo Battle Rage, and he already used 2 of these, so it's very unlikely he can even get close to that. Yeah, this is just bad. This is not gonna cut it. This is just way too slow. Well, I guess if he gets 4 of them, but still, way too slow. Can he target creatures? No. That would be, I guess that would be too strong. I guess we could actually do something different with the Eidolon, but no, we just go all in. This has to be the best play. Just get one really big life linker. And next turn we can... Well, we're always gonna see what we draw first, but if we get another land, we might play Eidolon, Shieldmate, protect that Eidolon, and then start working up another enchantment. Or another big life linker, basically. So we have one which we attack with, and one which we hold back. Or maybe we just bestow the Eidolon on the Pilgrim and then attack with both of these to gain like some more life. There's absolutely no reason to put this Eidolon on the Hunt Beast, because just playing this Eidolon in any way is going to grow the Hunt Beast with the E-Armor, but we want to spread out the lifelink, I feel. Bestowing another high Eidolon on this Hunt Beast feels so bad. 4 mana, just for +1/+1. When you can play it for 1 and it still grows with that guy. Okay. So this is a dash Impact Tremors deck. But I seriously doubt that he's gonna be able to raise 7/7 lifelink for a striker. He doesn't even attack, that's weird. If I put this on here, this is a 2/3. Since it's first strike, he cannot double block in any way. I mean, he can't double block anyway because his creatures are too small, but against first strike it's just almost impossible to double block in a good way. Unless you have like first strike yourself. So this, I think we're just gonna play Scout and Pilgrim. and the idea is gonna be that next turn we bestow on the scout and have a look, try to get a second big guy. I don't think we need to get the hunt beast any bigger. And I don't think there's a way for him to win here. I think he's pretty much dead. Even if he could choose like what he can draw, or if he could draw any cards in his deck, probably does not have an out against 7/7 lifelinker. What's the best he could do here? He could maybe like summon like 6 tokens or maybe 8 tokens. That would be like 16 damage. That's not enough. If he had token generators, which we don't know if he does. Another pilgrim. We're drawing actually not that great. Well, we drew the lifelink, which is really all we needed, but the other draws were not that great. So we want to board in more lifelinkers. So we have Eternal first. So bring in 2 enchantments. And we want to board out some enchantments which we don't need. And I think that's gonna be the Deviant Glee here and the Spectral Flight. So I play 1 off Deviant Glee, 1 off Spectral Flight in the main, which you can get with Heliod's Pilgrim. So basically sometimes you're gonna need Trample, sometimes you're gonna need Flying. Flying is very good if you play against a deck which plays like Stormbound guys, Delver, and you just want to block them or contest the flying, or sometimes you use the flying offensively because there's just too many tokens on the board, and then you get either Spectral Flight or Deviant Cleave with your Heliod's Pilgrim. But I don't think that's going to be a problem here. I think in this game we just want to get a lifelink. Lifelink is the only thing that matters, so we exchange the flying and the trample for 2 more lifelinkers. And I think Divine Favor is interesting, but free life is really, I mean, free life can make the difference. It might be better than Shieldmate. I don't think we want to replace Abundant Grove, Earmor, or Eternal First, and Eidolon is lifelink, so the only enchantment that is left is Shieldmate. I guess we could choose something like Krufix Insight, because maybe it's too late. This is like, you don't want to play this like turn 3, right? Krufix Insight is something you use in the late game or in the mid to late game to refill your hand, usually when you've already been removed once or something like that. So the idea here is that in this game we most likely won't need Krufix of Insight, so maybe we just cut 2 Krufix and add 2 Divine Favor. Young Wolf could also be a thing, it can block twice. It's okay, but this is more against Edicts actually. I like Commune with the Gods more than I like Krufix here because we're looking for something specific. We are looking for lifelink. We don't need card advantage. We don't need to get a lot of a lot of enchantments. We're looking for specific enchantments for Eternal Thirst or for Hopeful Eidolon. Right? I think I'm gonna play it this way. It can be very dangerous with him on the play. And we have no lifelink, but we have a lot of RAM and some blockers, so I think I'm gonna keep this. If we draw into a Heliod's Pilgrim, or obviously into an Eidolon Divine Favor, that would be good. Drawing in Eternal First is not that good because we can't cast it. Doom Traveler, okay. And another Pilgrim. Probably gonna bestow the Shieldmate really early, just to have a bigger blocker. Impact Tremors. I think this is actually kind of slow. I think this deck is a little bit more grindy. It's a little bit slower than the red-white heroic deck I played against. Do we just ram as much as we can? I think so. Yeah, because if we draw a Heliod's Pilgrim, we want to be able to spend a lot of mana. We want to be able to cast the Heliod's Pilgrim, get an enchantment, probably play the enchantment. But yeah, this red-white deck, I think it's slower, it's grindier, and that's good for us because very fast decks might be able to kill us before we can finish them all. This is a little bit awkward actually because we don't have a black source, and our only lifelink enchantment which we can get is Eternal Thirst. So we could get Eternal Thirst and Hope, but that's not a good game plan. So I think the game plan is here we play Heliod's Program, and then we get Abundant Growth. Our Abundant Growth is going to draw us a card. It's going to enable Shieldmate. I guess we could get Divine Favor, gain free life, but I think I like Abundant Growth more because eventually we want to cast Eternal Thirst, and it draws us another card, and we already have a nice amount of blockers. So the decision what to get had a huge impact on how we want to tap here, because now we need 2 green mana for the Abundant Growth and a Blade Cover Scout. So as you can see, we cannot get Hopeful Eidolon. If we would be able to get Hopeful Eidolon, we would have probably gotten that. So we get Abundant Growth. I might even draw a land here. But that doesn't really change anything. I mean, now we can play like this, but play both scouts, basically. But it's not that great. Would have been way better to get a Hopeful Eidolon. Sadly, this can only get auras. But I mean, we're doing fine, right? Look at how much mana we can work with. We have 6 mana. I don't think I block here because he just gets a flyer. We take 1 damage. Doesn't change anything. And if he has Titan Strength, then we lose a blocker. He gets to scry, stuff like that. Yeah, okay. That's alright, I think. I think we play with Shieldmate. Oh, this is interesting. Drawing cards always good when you're looking for something specific. Wow. So 6 mana. If we play this, we can't play this. I'm wondering if he plays like Lightning Spear or the 2 damage to a creature spell mastery thing. Basically, I'm thinking about playing this and soul bonding it to the Pilgrim, or playing the Shieldmate, or bestowing the Shieldmate on the Pilgrim. Like a 2/4 could block something, but it still dies. It still dies, right? 2/4 still dies to Titan Strength, so actually I think I don't want to block. Well, since we have so much mana, if we now draw something like Hopeful Eidolon, we can bestow both the Hopeful Eidolon and the Shieldmate, which is really good. Or if we draw like Heliod's Pilgrim, we can play Heliod's Pilgrim, get Eternal Thirst, play Eternal Thirst, and we'll have still 2 mana open. But you can see from our board, we drew too many creatures, like especially too many mana dorks and too many lands. We have no significant auras here. This aura is really just somewhat of a filler aura, something that can, it makes you a little bit bigger, but you cannot compare this to something like E-Armor or Lifelink. The Lifelink armor the Lifelink enchantment is like utility, I would call it, and the E-Armor is really your bread and butter, like what makes you big. And these things were just, filler, basically. They are good because you can play them as creatures if you need to, which then can be turned into hexproof creatures with shield made. But that's not what we wanted to draw here. I'm actually thinking if I want to, like, block this 3-1 with, like, I don't know. Not with these soul-bonded guys. Because I want to enchant this dude because he's the biggest. I could maybe even do it with a mana. But 7 mana? I guess 7 mana is more than I need to have. So I guess I'll do this. Because this is a really good trade. He's gonna dash this every turn, so we take like 4 damage every turn because of this. So getting rid of that. And if he has a Titan Strength here, that's okay because he doesn't have Trample, and then the Allison Pilgrim is at least gonna take care. Either it's gonna trade, which is good, or it's gonna take care of a lot of damage if he has to use a Titan Strength here. This soaks up 6 damage. Well, this is also really good because he didn't get to choose the offensive mode on the Anthem. I think it would have been way better for him to actually just choose the attack with everything and choose the offensive mode. Wow. So I go on the biggest thing we have, which is the shield made. Well, it doesn't matter. And now we have a 3/5 lifelink. I'm trying to think if I want to hold it back and block something like this. I know, just now. He's probably gonna block, which is fine with me. We still need to draw into something like Yelmore. Well, we have a lot of ways to do that. I mean, we have a lot of draws which are okay. Divine Favor would be okay. We would have a 4/7 at that point. E-Armor would be the absolute nut draw. And since he blocks, we actually grow our dude. So I think it was a mistake for him to block. Maybe he doesn't know how Eternal First works, but if your opponent loses a creature, the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 forever. So that's really, really good here. Because this dude was a little bit small, I was a little bit scared this was gonna die to like block plus Titan Strength. And now that's just not gonna happen. I mean, it's unlikely at 4/6. Did he dash? Oh, he didn't dash, so he probably did this so we wouldn't feel comfortable attacking here because he could have Titan Strength, but look what we drew. So we gained 3 life, which is nice. We go to 5/9. At this point, what could he do? He could like he could like block with everything, Titan Strength, that would be enough. But he loses his whole board. I'm not sure if I want to attack here. He could also have Fortify and block with 3 tokens, Fortify +2. That would be horrible for us. So I think we just say, whatever, your turn. And if he attacks, I'm going to try to trade one of the pilgrims for the goblin tokens. Just so that my shield mate becomes even bigger. And again, we have so many good draws. We have 4 Inferior Armor, we have 3 Divine Favors, 4 Hopeful Eidolons, 3 Heliod's Pilgrim. Oh, the Keening Apparition. Keening Apparition. Should have attacked. Well, no way to know. Ah. So the idea is, do we want to attack? No, we do the commune first. He's gonna take the eternal first, I would think. Wow. That's like really, really bad. Nothing in the top 5 that's even remotely usable. I mean, we don't need another Pilgrim. It's gonna be the Shield main. But it's really good that we had a commune with the gods, because if we draw this, we probably lose at some point. So I'm gonna soulbond with uh, one of the hexproof creatures, actually, I think. Because I'm totally willing to like chump block with both these pilgrims. They are less important right now, I think, than the. Oh, actually, I'm gonna choose one of the pilgrims. The thing is, well, if you chump block eventually with this guy, then this guy loses hexproof basically, at least until you play another creature. So now the question is, do we want to attack with our 5/9? If we do, we can use this. No, we can't. I don't think that's the right choice. If he uses the Keening Apparition Smart and blockers plus fortify or something, we need E armor. But as soon as we get E armor, he's gonna destroy it. So I guess we need 2 E armors and just have to hope. But the thing is, we have way more enchantments than he has hate. So in the long run, as long as we're not dying in the meantime, it should be fine. He cannot attack. Well, it's pretty obvious, just bestow. Um, so now we have lifelink, even if he uses this. The best thing he can do is he can take 1/3 away, so you get a 5/7. I think we still just wait. He cannot attack. Again, if he attacks, we just trade creatures and our shield mate gets bigger. Maybe I should have attacked with like a bunch of 1/1s. Well, no, he has this. But maybe I should have attacked with like a shield mate here. I don't really care about that shield mate very much. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that next turn. What's the best he can do? He can block with this and Titan Strength it, I suppose. Right? And I'm okay with that. Then the Titan Strength is gone. And if he lets it through, I think actually the best thing he can do is just let it through. Because whenever a creature dies here, we're just one step closer to winning. And he's gonna let it through. Well, I should have done this like 2 or 3 turns ago. I guess I couldn't have done it 2 or 3 turns ago. You might hold the Evolving Wilds in your hand here, just so your opponent doesn't know that you're Hellbent. But I like thinning our deck, and we might have a use for the mana. Let's have a look at our deck. Most of the cards are good. Like, how many bad cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 17. So like half the cards, a little bit less than half the cards are bad. So we have 50% chance to draw a good card. That's a very good card. I think this turn I attack. Get a armor. I mean, he has to use the Keening Apparition on the E armor. To which point I'm back to like a 6/10. I'm still so worried about the lifelink. Maybe I still want to wait. Not about the lifelink, about him just triple blocking and having a fortify. No, actually it's fine because we keep alive linkers. Well, let's see what happens. Maybe it's a misplay. I mean, he has to have the absolute nuts for him to have that kind of line of play. But since we bestowed, we get the 1/1 lifelinker back, which is, at the end of the day, that's like one of the big reasons why I wanted to do it. Good news is he didn't go for like a triple block, or he can still do that next turn. But now we're at least one bigger. Now we have a 7-11, so that's already one step closer. But really, what can you do against the 11? 45 plus 2, so that would be enough actually. Not even close. That's way more than he needs to have. Let's threaten with this guy again too. Okay, okay, we're winning. Now he's losing the critical mass of creatures he needs to do that play, and our guy's still growing. So I was scared for nothing. Maybe I should have just been more brutal and just do that play, like attack all the time. Because I don't think he plays that many fortifies. He probably plays like 2 or fortify. And just playing so slowly might have cost us the game. If he did then eventually draw into his outs, like Keening Apparition was a pretty good draw for him. And we had a few turns before that, which we could have gained a lot of life if we hadn't been scared. On the other hand, of course, if we did have a Fortify, I don't know, it's complicated, especially if like it's a meta game, which is so open. You don't know the decks because like nobody has played extended Pauper like this before, I suppose. And with as I said, I did a lot of testing, but never against this deck. Going all in, no reason to go for start enchanting a second creature. 10, 15. Oh, actually, I'm misplaying here. I should be attacking with more than one creature. I should actually be attacking with the Shield Mate, with both the Shield Mates and the Primal Hunt Beast, because he could have Celestial Flare. That's just something that I didn't think about before, but I'm gonna start doing that. It's okay, we have so many creatures, if he starts trading with like our other creatures, that's fine. Oh wow. I'm gonna lose a bunch of guys. How many are we losing? 4? Did we just lose 4 guys? Yep. And it's not a big deal. Unless he does have Celestial Flare eventually. I was actually thinking about starting to bestow on the second creature. Since I want to attack with the other creatures now. But I think I'm going to start like with something that doesn't matter. Well, what he can play, he can block, and then he can play Celestial Flare if he has it. Well, he just drew this. He can't have Celestial Flare right now. He just drew this, otherwise he would have done it before. And he didn't have Celestial Flare last turn. And I don't think he would play Celestial Flare, probably. But I think I'm going to start holding back our enchantments to put them on the Hunt Beast. So that if we do lose our Shield Mate to Celestial Flare, we have a way to win. Yeah. So it's obviously gonna block here. Oh no, never mind. This is a free one. I thought it was a free two. So the idea now was to play around Celestial Flare even if he blocks first, and then after the damage he could use the Celestial Flare. So now we're gonna bestow the Eidolon on this. And he just concedes. And that's game. But we would have been able to get a second E armor. Where is he? So that's my first league match, winning 2-0 against Token Red White, or like Boros, Token Boros dash Impact Tremor. Um, yeah, I really like the deck of our opponent. I think the diversity in the format is really great. I've seen like 10 different decks so far, and I've really not played that much. I think I'm probably one of the people who did the most testing. As I said, I played maybe like a dozen matches, but or maybe like 20 matches, but there's 10 different decks, and I'm still seeing new decks all the time. I've seen 3 different hexproof decks. I've seen like 3 different blue-black control. Um, like 3 different blue-black control lists. There's a lot of different decks, and I just want to show you the deck again, which we played. Again, I think this deck is very strong, very resilient to Electrickery. Electrickery and Shrivel is actually pretty good against this deck, but um, it, this deck doesn't lose to Shrivel or Electricity alone. Well, it usually doesn't. And it's also really resilient to Celestial Flare and Devour Flash. It can win against really fast decks just by having fast life linkers and Divine Favor. And it can win against grindy control decks like Esper Control with Celestial Flare and Devour Flash. Just because you can have stuff like Krufix Insight to refill your hand. You have 26 creatures, and you can give all of them hexproof with Shieldmate, so you don't really care about Devour Flash and Celestial Flare. I think this is a really, really strong deck. And yeah, that's week 1 for me. Thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna stream every week, so you can stay tuned, see if I make a top 8. And let me know in the comments what you think about the deck. Maybe if you have any suggestions what could be better in this deck, I would I would be glad to hear it. If you wanted to maybe have an idea for another deck, I'll also be glad to hear that and maybe play another deck. I have a Delver deck, but I think it's worse than this. I think this is probably, from all the decks I've seen so far, I think this is probably like the tier 0 deck. Like this is the deck to beat. Because seriously, my win rate with this deck is insane. It's like upwards of 80%, and even what you suppose would be the bad matchups are good matchups, really. Like even the decks which play all the hate, which play Shrivel, Celestial Flare, Devour Flash, even those decks, you have upwards of 50% win rate against. And decks which are very fast, you still have like 50% win rate against, and all the other decks you just completely wipe the floor with. So it seems very strong. Okay, well, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next week's